All right, earlier this month, the Federal Skills Minister came out and said maybe it's time to consider retraining because the job market is changing dramatically. Careers expert Suzie Plush joins me now. Suzie, good morning to you.
Hi, Paul.
Thank you for getting up at stupid o'clock to come in here
after
a weekend at Noosa, which would have been lovely.
Beautiful.
The employment landscape is changing dramatically, isn't it? At one time, there were huge numbers of people working in the service industry as labourers. Many of those jobs have been replaced by machinery, and of course the other big one was assembly workers, factory workers, and many of those jobs have gone. At what time do you think I've got to give up on the fact that there just aren't enough of those jobs around and I've got to retrain?
I guess, yeah, if you're really struggling to get employment, it might be good at looking at different options to retrain. So I guess the first thing I'd recommend is really doing your research. So understanding the season of life that you're in. You might benefit by doing a TAFE course.
That sounds worrying, the season of life. What season of life would I be in? The twilight zone.
Well, you don't have small children anymore, so, you know, if you've got small children or you're working long hours, you know, it might be unrealistic for you to go and study a university degree. So you might be looking at a more practical option like TAFE or studying through a private college. So it's really evaluating, I guess, what's going on in your life and what is going to work for you.
Is there, I mean, this is frightening me, is there an age at which you just have to say, quite frankly, you've missed the boat, it's too late to retrain?
I think it's being specific in terms of what you want to retrain in, so building on your existing employment and also the work experience that you've had, and maybe getting more technical skills or again doing some on-the-job training just to boost up your existing skills.
And of course one of the other things is what do you train for? Because if you've accepted, you know, I'm an unskilled worker, that work is no longer available, I need to train for something, do you go back to that original wish list that you might have had when you were a little boy or a little girl, or do you think more logically?
I think it's about being realistic as well. If you had a dream to be an actor, you know, that dream might have passed already. So it's about kind of looking at options. There's particularly some high growth areas, so healthcare, business, IT, engineering. So if you can kind of shift into some of those areas and retrain in those areas.
So if you're like 46, 47 years old, you've been working in a biscuit factory all your life, just assembling macaroons, and all of a sudden there's no more work and you think, I've always fancied being a brain surgeon. You know, I mean, that's a big call, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So you just peg back those expectations a bit, and you've got to know what you're going to actually want to do, because you're probably talking about spending a number of years retraining. You don't want to get to that point and then think, oh, actually, I don't know if I really want to do this.
That's a really good point. So I think it's important to talk to people that are working in the industry or in the role that you're looking to move into, and really getting more of an idea if that's going to suit you. So evaluating your values, your interests, your preferences. Sometimes talking to a career consultant can be helpful as well to get another perspective too.
What are some of those areas? You mentioned healthcare. What are some of the other areas where they're labour intensive and they're growth areas still?
So aged care is particularly going to be a huge area of growth. So, you know, obviously assisting customer service, things like that. Any service area is going to be an area where there's going to be a lot of employment. And
one of the things that I know you've said is to give you an edge, because having the qualifications is one thing. If you can have an edge on those other people going for the jobs, it's important. And work experience will give you a huge edge. If you can show a potential employer that you've actually put yourself out there and gone about getting work experience.
That's right. So really it's not enough just to have a degree. You want to see on your resume that you've done lots of work experience, that you've gone and you know, shadowed people in an office, or you've done some on-the-job training to really make sure that you're standing out from the crowd. Is it hard for people,
just finally, is it hard for people to make that step when they've been struggling, maybe they've lost a few jobs, managed eventually to get another job? Is it hard for them to say, I'm going to pull right back from looking for a job and retrain?
Absolutely. I think it's really scary, because then you think, do I have the capacity to study and the discipline to do that? So I recommend getting some support along the way. So, you know, asking for help if you need it. So getting a tutor or a mentor, so someone that can really guide you through the process as well and build your confidence.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Suzie, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.